It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication. Destruction leads to a very rough road, but it also breeds creation. An earthquake's out to a girl's guitar, they're just another good vibration. And tidal waves couldn't save the world from Californication.
Hey guys, how's it going? Still doing it? Okay, so that was Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers from the eponymous Californication album. Yeah, not one of the most technically difficult songs to learn how to play, and it is a slight departure from what I would normally do for you guys, you know, like the sort of 3-chord punk type stuff. But because it's such a simple song, I thought it was quite in keeping with the sort of stuff I would normally put on YouTube for you guys. So yeah. Now, John Frusciante is one of those guys that, you know, doesn't usually display an amazing technical ability when it comes to playing the guitar. Not usually, anyway. But he is definitely one of those guys that has so much knowledge when it comes to music and music theory. You can just kind of tell by like the strange timings he uses sometimes, and you know, the amazing chord changes that he does. He's just, you know, one of those guys that's just dripping with knowledge, basically. So when John rejoined the Chili's back in 1998, having left in '92 because of, you know, beef with their popularity and stuff like that, he kind of disappeared into like a hole of drug abuse and basically nearly killed himself. And when he came back to the Chili's, he basically said to them, look, I have no technique now because I haven't touched a guitar for years, kind of thing. Which, if you ask me, is kind of funny, really. Because, you know, even though he hadn't played for ages and he had no technique, as he said, I think even then he still probably had more ability than I'll ever have. But, you know, whatever. Yeah, so because he hadn't touched a guitar for so long, when he came back to the jam sessions with the Chili Peppers, because that's how they always wrote their stuff, was just like getting in a room together and just jamming, basically. When he came back to the jam sessions, he basically came back with a less is more kind of approach, which I think is wicked, because not only is it good for learners like you and me, but it's also good because like at the time it sort of set them apart from other bands who were out at the time. You know, your Limp Bizkits and Rage Against the Machines and Smashing Pumpkins and stuff like that. Cool bands, but like, you know, the Chili Peppers really kind of stepped out of that kind of rut that a lot of like alternative rock bands were in the 90s. And they really kind of like made a name for themselves by sort of like just playing really mellow, melodic and, you know, great music, which is awesome. And, you know, I think it kind of ushered in like a new era for the Chili Peppers, you know, with songs like the amazing Scar Tissue, Other Side, Around the World, Parallel Universe, Road Tripping, all these amazing songs off this album, you know. And it was like so different to stuff that they'd done before. It was really kind of like, I don't want to say more mainstream, but it was just really good and really cool, and it just showed their level of professionalism at this point, and just, you know, how, you know, professional and how well they knew themselves and what they were doing. I hope that makes sense. I'm just rambling on a little bit here and just kind of gushing over the Chili Peppers, but they are one of my favourite bands of all time, so I think it's warranted. Even with a simpler, much more melodic approach, there definitely are tricky bits to the song Californication. It's kind of like deceptively simple in a way. You know, I kind of alluded to it briefly before, where it's like, you know, kind of different timings here and there. I don't know if that is necessarily true, but it's just something that I hear when I was, like, what I heard when I was playing along to it. You know, there are bits where John kind of plays behind the beat and slightly in front of the beat. And, you know, when I sort of like do these covers, I listen to the song in one ear and then listen to my amp through the other. And I basically just listen to the drums while I'm playing, kind of thing, you know, just to keep the timing. That's like what people do when they play music, they listen to the drums because the drums keep the beat. Nice one. Stating the obvious as usual. Well done. Just as a kind of quick example, the pre-chorus that comes before the solo, I think John kind of plays it slightly offbeat. You know, he kind of does the down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. You know, the you know, that part where I think he kind of like plays it slightly out of time with the drums, because when I was listening to it, it was kind of messing me up. I don't know if that you know, comes across in the, you know, the cover that I just did, but, you know, there was a bit where I kind of think I messed it up a little bit, but I thought I would just leave it in there anyway, just because it kind of demonstrates how John does kind of like move the timing about slightly, even if it is just in his head kind of thing. So yeah. Okay, so that's enough of me chatting away to you. I'm sure you're tired of me talking by now. What I'm going to do now is show you something that I filmed slightly earlier, just a quick demo of like the strumming pattern to the pre-chorus. And I think I'm probably going to show you the solo as well, just slowing it down for you just to kind of demonstrate that. I mean, it's not very difficult, to be honest. If you really wanted to challenge yourself, then I would recommend trying to learn it by ear. But if you don't have the time to do that, then yeah, I'm just going to play it slowly for you with the tab underneath, because I'm nice like that and I try to be as helpful as possible. So yeah. With regard to the blue Strat, I finished painting it now, and to be honest, I couldn't sort of help myself. I kind of relicked it slightly as well. I don't know if you can see that. There's kind of a slight bit of relicking there, just to sort of make it look like it's an older guitar, because I've basically had this guitar since, what, 2011, I think? and I've repainted it like 4 times. I think I did a pretty good job with it this time. I think it looks damn good. I mean, it's not very hard to do, but anyway, yeah, it's got a Seymour Duncan humbucker in the bridge position. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, obviously it's not completely together yet. I'm still waiting for the paint to cure. You know, I haven't actually put the screws on it completely tight because I don't want to sort of damage the paintwork that I've done. Look at that relicking on the back, that's intense. I just love relic guitars, you know. I thought it looked too sort of like pristine when I'd sort of like sanded it down and buffed it and polished it and everything. And you know, it is a slightly older guitar for me now. So I thought, you know, a bit of relicking wouldn't go amiss. I think it looks awesome. Okay, so like I said, that's enough chit chat from me now. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit like and subscribe. You know, your continued support is always welcome, and you know, as I always say, it really means a lot to me. I try to sound sincere as possible when I say these things, because I do say it at the end of pretty much every video, but it is coming from an honest place, you know, I do really mean it. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm so strange. Also, if you're playing the song on your own, you can do Flea's bass part in the verse as well. So that goes like this. And slower for you. Whoops.